Welcome everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin. Hopefully going to be joined soon by my co-host James Haskell. DK, of course, is still with me here in the background. And man, I tell you, as I prepared for this show throughout the day, I didn't expect to get the bad news that faced me. I think right as just a couple hours ago, we did get some bad Ravens news, folks. So I appreciate you guys joining us here. DK, Jimmy just tried to call me, just so you know. But we did get some bad news, folks. And man, this isn't King Blaze. Appreciate you coming out. Did not want to get this news, but look, unfortunately for the Ravens, as you're going to see on the screen popping up in just one moment, they did suffer a loss today. And I think relatively big loss. They looks like during conditioning, as announced by Ian Rappaport, the Ravens starting safety Ardarius Washington, who just finally signed back with the team, tore his Achilles during conditioning. Therefore, he will be missing the entirety of the season. What's going on, Shantae? What's going on, Dome Life? Appreciate you coming out. Quan saying, let's go get Justin Simmons. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be turning to that direction here pretty soon. But the Ravens do lose Ardarius, which is just a shame. I mean, the guy, let's see, started 10 games last season, was really him being inserted in the back end of the defense is really the marker where you can say where the defense completely turned around. And I know there was other factors that went into that turnaround, but the biggest personnel difference was Ardarius was inserted into the game, point blank period. And you can't just discount the plays that this guy made. I mean, he was impactful. He was impactful like in every moment that he made an impact seemed like to be like the game-changing moment, like the forced fumbles, the big hits on the tight end to stuff them before they get the first downs. Like every play he made seemed to be an important play. This wasn't a first quarter, first drive play. These seemed to be second half, big time plays in big time situations. And so while, he's an undersized guy, an undrafted undrafted participant, he was a difference maker on this team. Man, it's just a shame. I mean, he was versatile, even though he was smaller, was just a pit bull when it comes to the ball being in the air, had a knack for the football, just undeniable. And so losing Ardarius Washington, it's gonna hurt. And let's also remember that part of the kind of intrigue about the Ravens bringing in Malachi Starks is that we went great. They're going to be back to three safeties playing a vast majority of the snaps, which when this Ravens defense was number one and won the Triple Crown on defense, they had three safeties playing a whole heck of a lot of football. And so the Ravens fans were excited. Oh, this means Kyle Hamilton can go back to a more, that joker role, a role where they can move him around in multiple spots. They don't have to, stick him in a more traditional safety role because they only have two they feel good about. Well, it looks like we might be back to that point. Malachi's here, and man, grateful to have him. Certainly even more grateful now with the Ardarius news, but it just shows you that while it may feel like a luxury pick or, sometimes the Ravens add to a group of that's already a strength and boom, like that. Now, Malachi's not a luxury pick, right? He's thrusted into being a starter. Not that we didn't anticipate that being the case, but it's certainly going to be the case now. And then the question then goes to what's next for the Ravens. They bring in Malachi Starks with a plan to play three safeties, not saying that, they only brought it. I think Malachi was the best player available on the board. We'll never truly know, but I think he was. And I think when they brought him in, they thought they'd be playing three safeties a whole hell of a lot. And now with Ardarius out, it makes you go, okay, well, did they scrap those plans? Or do they simply redirect their attention to a different safety? So the question is that safety who they hope to take over Ardarius's role or at least absorb some of his snaps, is that person on the team right now? So you look at the depth chart I have pulled up on the screen right now. Obviously, Kyle and Malachi are the new starters. Sanusi Kane and Bo Brady, we saw were contributors last year for the most part as special teamers, but made a heck of a lot of plays in preseason. Didn't get to see a ton of them on the defensive side of the ball during the regular season, but we did, get to see them going down there making tackles. I know Kane and Bo Braid both made some tackles as special teamers. I think 9 for Kane and 3 or 4 for Bo Braid. So not a ton, but I mean, how many opportunities you get to make tackles on special teams? You certainly don't get a lot. Let me see here. Oh, good news is Jimmy is on the way. On the way, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the Russell Wilson fumble. DK brings up the Russell Wilson hit and fumble as they were driving. Imagine if he doesn't force that fumble, even if they only get 3 there. Imagine how that game is different. I think it totally changed the shape of that game. Yeah, Devin, it's awful. It's no good. But is the replacement on the roster, or did the Ravens simply decide to go in a different direction, bring another corner on the field, bring an additional linebacker? Maybe Trenton Simpson earns some of those snaps. That remains to be seen. I certainly like what I saw from Sanusi Kane and, of course, Bo Braid, who's a Terp. But even if he wasn't, he played fantastic in the times that we did see him. I mean, he was their defensive MVP, I think, in the preseason. Defensive MVP in the preseason, in my opinion, was Bo Braid. He had the interception. This is just off the top of my head. I remember he had the pick. He was a tackling machine. He was absolutely everywhere in the open field. So I think they have potentially the replacement already on the roster, but others aren't so sure. I know that some think that this could mean that they're back on the safety market and maybe should bring in a veteran. I know that, let's see here, Jeff Zrebick, kind of raised that question earlier today after the news was broken, and mentioned a couple names here. As you can see, Julian Blackmon, Justin Simmons, who was mentioned earlier in our chat, Chuck Clark, familiar face, who left Baltimore a few years back, Quandre Diggs, are all still available. Justin Simmons, an older guy, but certainly the most accomplished on this list. He'd probably be the most expensive on this list as well. And look, as much as I like Chuck Clark, because great story, another undrafted guy, became a starter and was impactful, wore the green dot for a little while, got punched in his face by Earl Thomas before ultimately leaving and signing a pretty lucrative deal with the Jets. And if those who remember, immediately after signing, he gets hurt for the whole season. Like, I don't think he played his rookie season as a Jet. Obviously not rookie in the NFL, but his first season with the Jets, I believe he missed the whole season with like a knee injury. I like Chuck Clark. I don't want him back though. And ball skills used to drive me crazy. Like, he had good instincts, but I think I don't really want to return from him. But maybe one of these other guys, if the price is right. But I think what the Ravens will do is they'll see what they have in those young guys. And my hope is that, a guy like Bo Braid or Sanusi Kane attack this offseason, even with the signing and drafting of Malachi Starks, that they didn't allow that to slow them down. And I hope they had a fantastic offseason. I hope they win the job in training camp. They're certainly going to have an opportunity. But man, it just shows you guys, man, like we've seen this before where it's like, man, why are they signing that guy? They don't need another one of the, that position that quick. All of a sudden now Malachi is absolutely a need. And thank goodness, imagine had they gone elsewhere with their first pick. Imagine they would have went edge with that first pick. And imagine they took a safety maybe later on who's more of a project and not as polished. Certainly, now you're not going to find a more polished safety out of college than Malachi Starks. But imagine if they didn't have him. Man, that's a lot on Kyle Hamilton's shoulders, right? Like now you're the only safety who has any play experience and the only one that you have any confidence in. I mean, any real confidence. The other stuff, the other guys, you just don't know. It's a lot of it's so unknown. So, man, I think what they'll do is they'll see what they have, and I think it's an indictment on who they have if we see a late training camp addition at that position, because I think it just tells me that they don't feel good about what they have behind the two starters in Malachi and Kyle Hamilton. So we'll wait and see. Feel bad for Ardarius. Get well soon. Certainly hope he can bounce back, man. But dang, it's just a shame. He finally was starting to maybe get some real money, and And it's already stacked against him being as undersized as he is. It's a shame. Let me see here. Laura has a super chat. Appreciate you, Laura. It's been a little while. Appreciate you, and thank you for coming out. He says, "Hey, y'all, been a bit out of touch. Where's your sidekick? He is joining me. Okay, he's in a different time zone. You know, Jim. He's a jet setter. Okay, he's out saving the world, as I say, but he's in a little bit of a different time zone. I think he got his times mixed up. You know, these young kids nowadays. He probably had an analog watch. He didn't know how to read it. It's a whole thing. You know, he needs that digital. He's a young one. But I appreciate you, Laura. Hope Sadie is well. Brandon DeShields, Tampa. Yeah, TJ Tampa is hopefully going to be playing a lot. But, of course, he's going to be contributing as a corner and not as a safety. But, yeah, quickly wanted to transition to a little bit different. There we go. Different news here it's going to be a wait and see when it comes to safety. But in a different position, another position that also was addressed in the very early stages of the draft, that got a little bit more intriguing as, let's see here. I'm going to put up on the screen here. Shout out to Jeff Zrebick for, there he is.
I'm so sorry, dude.
It's all good, bro.
I forgot about the time change. This happens one time every time I'm out here. I just sitting around like, oh yeah, I got till 8:30. Wait a second. Oh, sorry, dude.
It's all good. Well, quickly then, I guess before we move on to Jadeveon and the edge group, I just got done for the first 10 minutes talking about Ardarius Washington, the news coming out, which I believe I broke to you, Jimbo. I don't think you knew.
You did.
Bummer, huh?
Bummer. I mean, super sad for Ardarius Washington. And like you said in the text, one, really grateful that we got Malachi Starks, certainly. But two, I think that people may have underestimated, some people, not all people, because we talked about this. I think Ardarius still had a lot of value in this defense because they were going to play a lot of sets of three safeties. So to your point, we'll see what they do there to kind of fill that hole. Maybe an intriguing opportunity for a guy like Snoozy Kane, for a guy like, oh my gosh, what's his name?
Bo Braid. Yeah.
Bo Braid. There you go. Yeah. I mean, who both have showed ability last year. Certainly Bo, I think, got some more time on defense. And then I think Kane got some more play on special teams. But I really feel bad for Ardarius, and hopefully he can come back from it.
Yeah. Bummer. But don't let it get you down.
No. Yeah.
Come back. You got this. He's too good. All right, let's throw this back up. Apparently they're liking the scruff, Jimbo.
Mine?
Yeah, man.
Oh, no, it's gone today.
It's gone. Well, don't fall in love with it too much, Edward.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
It is out of here. Jadeveon Clowney is now a free agent looking for a home. And, of course, when we saw him in Baltimore, he put up a career year. And as far as sack production, one of the better edge stuffers as far as run defense in the league when he was in Baltimore. And he was a big part of the number one defense we had in Baltimore, where we had the Triple Crown. So now, of course, they draft Mike Green, and the excitement around that edge group is probably higher this year than I can remember in years like recently, because Mike Green looks like he's the real deal. And of course, we still have Odafe Owe, we still have KVN, Jabo, Tavius Robinson, a bunch of guys. So what's your interest level on Jadeveon Clowney? Should they kick the tires, see what it would cost? And if they did bring him in, like Jeff is proposing on the page here, does that say anything about the confidence they have in their young guys?
I normally don't, but I wholeheartedly disagree with Jeff on this. I don't think it has to do with our confidence in our guys. I think Ozzie would say all the time, you can't have too many good edge rushers. Can't have too many good corners. And if the price is right, why not add to the room? That's the way that I see it. It's not like a knock of confidence. It's like, let's simply make the room as best we can. Or like a guy like Jadeveon, who has shown he can be productive, who has shown he can play on every single down, who's done it here in Baltimore. If the price is right, then go after, because we don't know what could happen. We've been through it as Ravens fans, as a rash of injuries to a single group. And so you just never know when things change. Like you said, Glenn, we're excited. I think that Mike Green today is our number one pass rusher on our defense. And I don't know if that's a great place to be. even as good as he may be, like I think it's tough to say, well, my rookie who's never played it down is probably my best pass rusher. That's what I believe. Other people might not believe that, but yeah. So I love the idea of bringing Clowney back. Let's get him back here, man. So I give him a nice deal with with some incentives in there, because when Clowney's got them incentives, he'll play ball, baby.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Jimbo. Make it incentive laden. Edward George says it in the depth. Absolutely. We just got them talking about losing our Darius in a position that felt like we had a ton of good safeties.
Mm-hmm.
You lose one, and all of a sudden you're going, oh, we better not lose another, right? Or then you're in trouble. So although, you might feel good about those top three guys with Green and Owe and KVN, if Kyle Van Noy were to go down, Mike Green's a rookie. There's no telling. He could struggle. He could easily struggle with this leap. I mean, he's coming from a small school and jumping with the big boys in the AFC North. He could struggle. And then it's just Odafe Owe and Tavius Robinson. And while we like the growth from Tavius, I don't think anyone is going to try and convince us that Tavius Robinson is really a double-digit sack guy. I mean, I guess he has the potential because of his effort, but he's not a pass rusher that's going to just beat your tackle with pure athleticism and speed. He wins with effort and with motor. Like,
and certainly that's all we've seen. Like, maybe that could happen, but it's to be seen. We don't know.
Exactly. So I absolutely agree. Bring in Jadeveon. Folks, we got to remember, he's a fantastic pass rusher, and when that goes away, he'll still be one of the best run defenders in the league, because that's where he was always the best. Like, in college and all throughout, he's been one of the top-rated edge defenders when it comes to the run in the league every single season. It's his sack production that's really fluctuated, but as Jimmy mentioned, you get this guy on an incentive-laden deal, especially if you're on a team that's winning, then his motivation goes through the roof because he wants it for financial reasons, and he's also a competitor who's been on a lot of losing teams. And the one time he was on a good team that could actually compete, we saw the best of Jadeveon Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
So, absolutely, am I okay with him making Ajabo no longer? Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I hate to put it so bluntly, but if you're telling me I can have Clowney and get rid of David Ajabo, yeah, I'll pick him up myself.
And look, push Odafe Owe for snaps, right? Like, push them all for snaps, right? That's the way I see it. You got to earn your snaps. It's not like, let's not put guys in there for, because of default.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just because that's all we have. I mean, look on this group. Like, you mean to tell me he's not going to have, if he gets given equal snaps, that he can't outproduce Ajabo? I mean, honestly, I like Tavius Robinson. I think Jadeveon Clowney's a better football player. I mean, I don't think that's rude to say. I mean, Malik Ham, I like the potential. He's hurt every year. I can't count on this guy. Right. I mean, Adisa Isaac, really? You're going to I mean, we hope he's someone, but we have literally seen zero. So, yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you this, because we might think differently about this. So I think if you add Clowney to this group, I think because of where he's at in his career and where Mike Green is at, like I said, I haven't seen Mike Green play a snap in the NFL, but I think that Mike Green, KVN, and Clowney are our best three pass rushers. I think that KVN and Clowney are, I think.
Well, I can't put Mike Green. I get what you're saying. Everything looking like it's pointing in the right direction. But we got to give Owe, he's coming off double-digit sacks. We can't just immediately remove him from that group. Even if Clowney comes in, Owe deserves his place. He got 6
sacks off the Raiders and a 5th-string Browns, right? Like, it's 6 of his sacks. Like, did any of that actually count? You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
I'm not going to discount him. I think
we've seen Clowney and KVN come through in big moments, so we've seen it from both of them.
We have, and that's what we were missing, that third down in the fourth quarter where we just got to get off the field. We need a guy, and Clowney could ramp it up in those moments because he's just special athletically. He just is. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
How do we avoid, I mean, I know that tomorrow the schedule comes out. Obviously, we played Joe twice, Joe Burrow. We're going to play Mahomes. I think also we play Allen this year, right? Aren't the Bills on there?
Maybe. I don't even remember.
I can't remember anyway. I'll have to double check, but it's in them all day. We for the past how many years we've depended on the blitz, and our numbers from a sack percentage have looked good, but a lot of it has been schemed and blitzes and things like that. So You need a guy that can beat the guy in front of him in a big moment. You just do.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. And man, for all those saying, I get like from the Ravens perspective, because the Ravens don't usually do this, Jimbo. Let a guy comes here, has a good season, goes elsewhere, plays, and then comes back. I mean, Big Mike Pierce, but there's not a ton of those guys who go elsewhere, play a year, and then come back.
But I think that I think it's different because the Ravens are okay to let somebody else pay you.
They are
in those scenarios, right?
As long as you don't use them as bargaining tool.
Right. So I think, yeah. So I mean, I don't think there was bad blood in that. The Ravens understood that Clowney had a career year and he was going to go maximize his money. You get it. It's business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's been paid.
Yep.
He's got his money from Carolina for what he got. And yeah, like you said, bring him back on an incentive-laden deal and make it worth his while. And yeah, I think he fits right in here. It slides right in. I don't know. I don't understand how anyone would not be okay with Clowney coming back to the team. It's crazy, Glenn. I've come so far. You know, I didn't want Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, you had one season. You were like, yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah, all he did was prove me wrong all year.
He did.
Like, dude, the dude, yeah, was crushing it. I mean, yeah, I want him here. I want him in Baltimore for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look. Jack says I don't love bringing Clowney back. We need to let our young guys develop. I hear, but which young guys outside of Mike Green do you feel? I mean, I guess if you're putting Tavius right, he's a young guy. He's going into year 3. I just, I don't know, man. Do you ever think Tavius is really going to be like he's a football? You need guys who can stop he's a good run stuffer and he'll get sacks because of his effort. But I never look at Tavius as a guy who's like a scary pass rusher that deep offensive coordinators have to prepare for.
But this is the thing, is that you don't have to. I understand you need reps on the field, but you know, training camp, off season, all this stuff that you do as a player is to compete at, you know, when the lights are brightest. And I think that you can develop and you can show that stuff. Tavius Robinson can push. Okay, say he doesn't push KVN for snaps. Tavius Robinson can come in today if he develops in the offseason and he can push everybody else, everybody in the room. Nobody's exempt from. Nothing is stopping him from becoming that guy. Nothing is stopping him from developing. I don't think that by bringing in a vet, you stop his development, because he can go out there and win the snaps over all of those guys.
He really can. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think there's anyone, like, there's no Terrell Suggs in this defense that's a surefire Hall of Famer, one of the best pass rushers of all time, that you're just not taking snaps away from. You know, so yeah, I think it stops the development.
And I don't think he was productive. He played 14 games last year, Jimbo. Like,
yeah,
this isn't a guy who he had 5.5 sacks for maybe the worst team in football. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he's certainly good enough to warrant a contract. Now, I don't think you pay him $20 million. I'm not crazy, but yeah, bring him back, and let the best guy win the job. That's what I say.
For sure. I don't see any problem with that at all.
All right. Well, let me get your take on this, because I think initially I didn't see it first when Andrew Vorhees went on the lounge. DK pointed out to me, and I think he made a great point. And then I went ahead and watched it, and I totally agree. It feels as though the Ravens are I don't know if selling Vorhees to us as a left guard is the right word, but it almost looks like they're preparing us for the very reality that left guard is already in house. There is no additions. It's Andrew Vorhees' job to lose, and I guess his competitors are Ben Cleveland and Garrett Dellinger. But I think it's pretty clear that they don't just put guys on for accident. They don't just flip a coin and pick a guy out of the weight room. They do it very strategically. If you guys saw the episode, they made sure to point out, and they almost made sure that Garrett and those guys questioned specifically to make sure everybody knew that when Voorhees lost his job, it was strictly due to the ankle injury. It was not performance. It was because he was injured, and then they didn't want to go back. So first of all, do you agree with that this is a soft way of the Ravens preparing us for Voorhees being the left guard? Do you like that, or do you have a different take?
No, so I have a lot of takes, as always. But I do think that he will be the left guard. I do think that this is the way of them preparing us for it. Mm-hmm. I do have serious concerns about his ability to stay healthy. He's, unfortunately for him, dropped to the 7th round because of his inability to stay healthy. Last year was just technically his second year in the league, because the first year was basically a redshirt year coming off the ACL. If what they're saying is that he's unhealthy, he's now 0 for 2 health-wise, right? So while I'm okay with it, I'm okay with like him plugging in there if he's healthy, because I think he'll continue to develop as a football player, and I think he can turn into a solid guard. The part that I'm not sold on is his ability to stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think how do you answer that, right? You really can't until the season. But I will say this, Jimbo, I know you were probably happy to hear as well. Sounds like he was here the entire offseason. Mm-hmm. He worked out with the strength and conditioning team here. He continued to work on his craft. So that's all you can ask for a young guy, right? Like he did everything he could to get bigger, stronger, hopefully strengthen the area around the injury that he had last season, and continue to strengthen the knee that he had injuries when he was in college and right after college. But yeah, that's the thing, that you better have a backup plan. If your plan is Voorhees is your left guard, you better have a damn good backup plan if he gets hurt. And maybe that is why they brought back Ben Cleveland, because the familiarity, the fact that he's played multiple positions up and down this offensive line. Not a ton of like starting time, but certainly enough time to where you feel okay about it if he were to go in there. And maybe that's their backup for left guard, for center, and for right guard.
Yeah.
Because it seems like Joseph Noteboom, the recent swing tackle, he's their swing tackle now. And that'll allow Emory Jones time to rehab his shoulder injury and eventually take over at right guard. And Carson Vincent, 2 years down the line, maybe even just next year down the line, be the swing tackle next season. But man, you cannot go into this season with just, all right, Voorhees is our guy, and whatever happens, you have to have a definite plan for the when. I think it's almost like when he gets hurt, not what if he gets hurt.
Or like how many games is he going to miss, right? Like who did we do this before that we signed back in the day? He was a wide receiver. He was always hurt.
Odell Beckham?
It was before him. We were like new at the show. Gosh, I can't remember who it was. But the point is, to your point, I mean, you just don't know how to answer that question, so you need to have a backup. But so this is my question back to you. If you think the Ravens are that sure that Voorhees, a guy that played, 4 games last year?
Yeah, 4.
And then got benched for, say whatever you want. He wasn't on the football field.
Yeah.
And he was dressed with a helmet in hand, not on the football field when he came back.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean they feel even more better about Falele? Like that almost makes me, you know what I mean? That's like, okay, so if Voorhees is a surefire, there's no way in heck. If Voorhees is in pencil, Falele's got to be in pen.
Man, that's another thing that came out of the lounge. He wasn't really mentioned. Like, which Voorhees talked about the help of Ronnie Stanley, the help of Tyler Linderbaum, the development of Roger Rosengarten, but didn't really give a lot of he didn't give any glowing, support or talked about how now they're both young guys and maybe he just didn't get a lot out of him because he's a young guy fighting for a job too. And that could be the reason why. But Andrew Vorhees also mentioned that the whole 2024 offensive line went on a group vacation as soon as the season ended for about a week. Said it was amazing. It was a great time, with one person being absent. Would not mention that one person. Refused to say the name. But maybe that one person is Daniel Falele. I don't know what that means. It could mean that
nothing.
Wonder
if it just means he went home.
Yeah, it could just mean, hey, look, I'm not the partying type, okay? But
I mean, when you got plans to fly to the other side of the world, you don't generally change those plans. If maybe he already had that in motion or something. Who knows?
It could have, and yeah, but he didn't say it. It could not even be Daniel, but he wouldn't say the name. but he also didn't bring him up. So it could have been him. But I do think that the plan is for Daniel Falele to be a guard for one more year, for Emory Jones to eventually take over. And maybe that's this season if he's healthy enough. But yeah, I think
Falele's better than Andrew Vorhees, if you ask me today. Like, I'm not.
Well, you can certainly count on him more.
Sure,
he don't get hurt.
And guess what? If he didn't get beat for his job, I don't care what they say about the injury. It's not like McCary was out there tearing it up.
That's true. McCary was scratching. It had a lot of people scratching their heads. Yeah.
Struggling. So you're going to tell me John's going to sit there and go, well, this whole momentum thing really matters that much. Stop it.
It's the communication, Jimbo.
Come on, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. But there's something. He had a soft spot for McCary, dude. John loved him some Pat McCary, it seemed like.
He's a fighter, man. He's a fighter.
Yeah. Yeah. But look, I like the fact that a guy who we already know is one of the highest bench press reps, 3 years ago with a blown out knee, spent all off season working and training. I expect Vorhees to be tossing dudes out of the club. The only question is health, Jimbo. Like, I feel good about Vorhees, but I feel just as good about Vorhees as you can about a guy who you have no idea how many games you're going to get out of him. Like,
that's fair. That's a solid description, because outside of that, I think it is a crappy deal that a guy that stayed healthy last year and played his heart out and had some good moments, well, also had some tough moments, certainly had some good moments. He was solidly the better guard of the two the whole season, and he gets crapped on, and everyone's excited about Andrew Vorhees. Like, that's not super cool to me.
Yeah, but I mean, being better than left guard wasn't the very high bar.
Sure, but I mean, he rose above it. Like,
he did. He rose. I think his belly hit the bar on the way over it, but he got over it.
I just think it's a crappy situation, at least from a media perspective. I think that's kind of crappy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough league, man. You got to prove yourself every day, and Vorhees.
But Andrew better do it. He better do it, because I'm not sold, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a interesting position to watch. I didn't think we'd go into this season. I will say this, Jimbo. At the end of last season, I did not think we'd go into this next season going, all right, who's our guard? Here's your choices: Vorhees, Cleveland, or Falele. Like, I didn't think we'd still be in the same spot again.
Let me counter that thought. Okay. Either the guys that we drafted that are, that were who's Vincent, and who's the swing tackle? Emery?
Well, Vincent's more the swing tackle, and Emery's expected to be a right guard.
Right. So when do we see Emery? Do you believe he ends up in the starting lineup this year?
I think they want him to, but this injury isn't doing him any favors. I mean, you get a shoulder injury that now, is going to have you missing time. I just don't know how you could see. Here's the problem. If they wouldn't go back from McCary to Vorhees because of cohesion or whatever, however you want to call it, if Falele doesn't get hurt, are we ever going to see him get benched? Because I don't think Emory Jones has a chance to be the starter week one. I think that's a mountain to climb. And if Falele doesn't get hurt, do we ever see a scenario where John Harbaugh would bench a starter without an injury at the offensive line for a rookie? I don't know, man. So I think it would require an injury for him to lose his spot.
Yeah, I guess so. To me, that's the storyline to follow. Will it require an injury? Is there a chance that Emory comes in there and just plays so well that they can't ignore it? He gels well, does well. He comes in, back from his injury with time, to kind of ramp up a bit. I don't know, but to me, that's a storyline to follow, because I don't know, Glenn, if I'm convinced today that is the scenario, that it's Ben Cleveland, Vorhees, and Falele. For me, I think it's a little too early to tell still. I think there could be whatever name emerges, I think there will be another name that has a potential to take that spot. And the other thing I would say too is, said it before, if any year is going to be Ben Cleveland's best year, it's this year.
This is it, huh?
I mean, what else does he have to do at this point?
Yeah. I mean, but I think that he's very much so on the roster bubble. I mean, when you look at what I got here, they're going to keep 9 to 10 maybe offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Well, your starting 5 is Stanley, Vorhees, Linderbaum, Faalele, and Rodengar. That's 5 right there. So to get to 9, no Boom's your swing tackle. You're not cutting Emory Jones, Carson Vincent, or Garrett Dellinger, who you just drafted.
That's what, 8?
We're at 8. Oh, no, we're at 9. Look,
At 9?
So
Yeah, we're at
5,
9.
hold up, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8. We're already at 9.
9.
So
Yeah,
what
9.
does that mean for your only other center, like true center on the roster, who you just drafted in the 5th round last year, Nick Samac? I feel like it means Ben Cleveland is your backup at right guard or left guard and center for sure, and maybe even at right guard unless Emory Jones beats him there. Or is Dellinger not getting enough attention? Like LSU guard, I mean,
yeah, I was excited about that kid, but I know that draft Jason from DraftFlex wasn't super high on him, at least immediately making an impact. All I'm saying is that look out for Ben Cleveland. We could see a different Ben Cleveland this year. Is all I'm saying. He ain't got. I just can only imagine how I would be reacting in this situation.
Yeah, but you're different. You're built different, Jimbo. You go to work. You go to work.
Well, let's hope he does the same thing, right?
Cross, man. He has that Jimbo Mamba mentality, dude. Just feel like, all right.
I never have to go through that. What Penn's going through.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think so, but you hope so. You hope not. But I would be maybe not as stunned as you, but I'd be almost just as stunned as you if you had to go through that.
I'd be pretty surprised, to say the least.
Yeah. But the offensive line, for the most part, you feel okay about.
Yeah.
But you can't go into this thinking that they upgraded the offensive line, right? Like, and that's the spot we like. What did we say if they could do one thing? We kind of said we wanted them to upgrade their offensive line. And can you say that?
Do you really think that? No, you're right. Do you think that you don't think there's any chance Emory comes back with enough time to push for this spot? I think that he could come in and play really well from the beginning. The things that I read about him is that he probably shouldn't have gone that late in the draft in a lot of people's estimations. And if we're gonna, play him at a guard, he's a high-level right tackle playing at a big university for a long time, a lot, decent amount of starts. I think he's got a chance to come in and, be one of those kids that takes algebra 2 instead of algebra A and B. You know what I'm saying? He just knocks it all out in 1 year. He's got a short ramp up. And so I think he's got a chance to kind of come in mid-flight if the health is there. If there's anyone here that I could see that could pose an upgrade to the offensive line, I do think he has a fighting chance here.
Yeah, he's probably the only. I mean, he's definitely the only one because Cleveland's not. I mean, he's already here. So that's the literal only opportunity we have for an upgrade is a what round pick? Third round pick who's switching positions, who's already hurt. Like, if you're going to skip grades, health's got to be, I think, number one if you're gonna jump. So, man, it's just to that I'm a bit disappointed in this offseason because look, and people can say it's not over the offseason isn't over, but there's not a lot of teams in the business of giving up good offensive linemen. And so if they're already signed, chances are, like, even if they have a great rookie or something who has a surprising there's not a lot of offensive linemen that are good that are all going to suddenly become available in the coming months.
Yeah.
So
that is. I think they're more highly coveted than. I think they're harder to come by than maybe even an edge guy. A true. Because sometimes edge guys will get aged out, and maybe have a little tread on the tires. I do think that happens less with offensive linemen.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but to your point, I think that you're right. I also do give the Ravens a pass, at least in the first round. Both those guards were gone. Now, they could have done stuff in second, third, whatever. Even in the first 2 rounds. I mean, Mike, it was so hard to pass on Mike, and I get that.
Oh, yeah.
But you do.
But there's other times, free agency,
right.
Like they could have worked a trade, something.
I mean, there's always something to do. You're right. Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just disappointing. But the good news is they got Rowney back. That was a big one.
Big one.
And they did have the best rushing attack in football. So it's not like this is a bad offense. But, man, I just think of if you put Lamar and Derrick Henry behind a great offensive line,
So, well, let me follow that up. And we don't have to belabor this too much if you don't want to, that's fine. But do you think there's a chance, like, between Vorhees and Faalele, who do you think, if they're both healthy, big if, who makes a bigger jump next year? You know,
I
is
think
there one?
Voorhees.
So I question that. I understand
If healthy,
your point.
if healthy.
Sure. But do you think that?
But I feel better. I think Falele, I feel better about because he doesn't have the health concerns.
Yeah.
So I think like the higher ceiling is Voorhees, but definitely the higher floor is Falele.
Polynesians are just built different, dude.
He's not getting hurt.
He's built for battle, dude.
Yeah,
He's built for it. Like he goes into like he can play with no pads.
Yeah, easily.
I mean, think about rugby, dude.
I wouldn't want to get in front.
No pads, bro. Just live ammo. No, thank you. But no, I hope that they both, because that to me can be our X factor in this offensive line. Like you said, can they develop and take the next step? Because of championship team, every year we see this. Who's the middle linebacker that made a big impact for the Eagles this past year?
Oh, they just signed him to an extension.
Yeah, he went from edge to inside linebacker.
Yes, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, so like there's always a few players that, jump their game up from a development standpoint. They get
Bond. Was it Bond?
Bond or something like that. Yeah, but you guys know who I'm talking about. My point is simply that every championship team is going to have those guys that are on the roster today that end up being X factors in the season. Not everybody can be a sure thing. Not every position can be a sure thing. So let's just hope, right?
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Damn.
By the way, Maryland and Texas, I coached lacrosse where Haloti Nada played high school rugby and football. And so I saw some old tapes of him playing rugby. Man, it was legitimate abuse, Glenn. I mean, if you think about what it's like if you were to play full bore with kids Camden's age, like football.
Oh.
Like just as hard as you physically can.
Oh, God.
Right? Like just bad news bears, dude.
Well, you heard him. He got a shout out from Tom Brady. Did you hear that?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, it's about 340. Run. How'd you like hitting it full speed about 340? Yeah. He was a different type of dude.
He makes it in the Hall.
Yeah, I hope so, man. He was so good, man. The only thing they could knock him on is potentially his longevity, right? Like he didn't have the longest of careers.
How long did he play? 12 years?
Was it that long?
I'll figure it out.
Jesus. Yeah, Haloti was a monster. Same with Haloti Nada. Same boat. I mean, Haloti Nada. Marshall Yanda. Same boat. Like, didn't get it his first year. Which, by the way, the fact that Terrell Suggs didn't get his first year, I still am just dumbfounded. Like,
oh, I know.
Just what? If anyone is a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's freaking Terrell. So he literally did everything you could possibly do as a player, like rookie of the year, championship, defensive player of the year, top 8 in sacks all time. Name it. He's done it. He did it all. He won a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls. The hell is wrong with that stupid ass Hall of Fame? Oh, that had me pissed off. It still has me pissed off because players care about first ballot. It matters to them when you're first ballot. He should have been first ballot. Should have been a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Haloti played 13 years.
13, okay. Well, then he should have.
And he won what? 2 Super Bowls, right? He won one with the Eagles, won one with us.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
if Terrell Suggs isn't getting in.
No, you're right. I mean, certainly Terrell should go in before Haloti, but I do think Haloti should be there.
What's he, 7th? I think he is, or 6th or 7th all time in sacks. Like, golly.
That's funny. If Eli gets before Suggs, it's rigged.
I mean, it really is. I mean, he's literally what more could he have done? You get one shot at rookie of the year, he got it. You know, like how many guys at edge get defensive player of the year? Like, what are we? Anyway, sorry, just pisses me off.
No, I'm with you though. Did you, before I hopped on, I know the schedule's being released tomorrow. Did you go over the home and away games? I know that we don't know when they are, but do you want to talk about that real quick?
We can. No, we can talk about it. I'm down. Quickly, as you pull that up, I just want to say I'm getting a bit worried about the back end of our depth chart when it comes to wide receiver, and I'm worried about our guy, man, because I'm seeing LeJohntay Wester get national love.
Yeah.
Like national media love, like saying, no, he's going to make this team. He's going to turn heads as a kick returner. I'm telling you, he can play at this level. And it made me start thinking about our guy Dayton. I'm like, because I feel like this is his year where he can make an impact on the field. But man, LeJounte's getting love nationally. Like, this isn't radio stations in Baltimore. Right. This is national media talking about this guy.
Now, the one thing I will say to that is, I mean, people always say, things have a way of working themselves out in training camp. If he gets a nick,
Dayton, wait.
If he gets a little nick, little LeJounte, of course,
yeah,
you know what they'll do. You know what the Ravens do. They'll shelf him, give him time.
You
know what I mean? So
I don't want to root against LeJounte's a Raven. So
no, for sure. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is that, like, of course, the Ravens, if they want to be as strategic as they can with their roster. So if they don't want to lose a guy like Wade, right, and they see something small happen to a guy that might need to put on 15 pounds to play well in the league and survive, they're gonna be like, all right, dude, let's
IR.
You know what I mean? Let's take some time. Let's get in the weight room. We know what you can do, and let's give you a shot. You know what I mean? After you put some weight on. So I think the Ravens, my point, they'll be strategic. But look, if the kid is turning heads, the kid is turning heads. I don't get overly concerned about Dayton right now, because Dayton can splash, man. Like, sure, maybe he's not the splashiest kick returner, other things like that, but you line him up out there, he makes plays. I mean, we saw that last year in the preseason, and I think he'll continue to do so. I know he's plenty confident. I think he'll get it done, dude.
Yeah, he wants the competition. I love that. He's bring it on. I love it.
Absolutely. I just want to talk. Yeah, are you cool if we talk about this? Who we play? All right, let's see. Let me pull this up here. I know the Chiefs are on the schedule.
Oh yeah, here we go. 2025.
You got this, DK. Oh, cool, perfect. Oh, thank you, DK. Yeah, so home opponents. So I thought we had the Bills. Yeah, we get the Bills and the Chiefs away. The Vikings game away will be interesting. Packers game away will be interesting.
Oh, road trip?
Dude, let's go.
You're driving.
Wait, we're flying, bro.
You're driving, bruh.
DK, can you imagine Glenn flying into Green Bay in like December when it's snowing? And the plane's just the whole time.
They should have traded Bateman. Are you out of your mind, Brandon?
No, yeah. No. His contract is probably the best value contract in the NFL, the wide receiver position. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic there.
Yeah, no. I think, who was it? Kevin Ostreicher said that he's more valuable than Pickens. And he said this might be a hot take. No, that's not a hot take. With that deal, and the player that he is, and he's got Pickens in the locker room. Yeah, no. Yeah. They already paid him, Brandon. They already paid him.
Yeah, they got him for another 2 years, right?
At least 2. I don't know if he got him for 3 months. I know it was like a 3-year extension, but I don't know if he still had a year left. But it's at least 2 more years, maybe 3 more years. But yeah, Bateman is going absolutely nowhere. They got that dude for an absolute steal of a contract. But back here on the screen here, I mean, look, the good thing is the Rams are coming here. You don't have to fly all the way to LA. That's always a good thing. The biggest travel day, like, what's their furthest travel? Jimmy, you're more of the traveler. Minnesota, is that their biggest?
Well, yeah, I guess Minnesota's a bit further than Green Bay. Yeah.
But that's everything else on the East Coast.
Yeah, and even isn't Minnesota Central Time? It's only an hour difference in time. It's not like that's a blip. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's see. They only have how many away games that aren't Eastern? I don't know if Kansas City is, we'll say Kansas City is Central. So 1, 2, 3. 3 out of the 8 away games only 3 are in Central Time at worst.
That's pretty good travel.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what I'm excited about, Glenn. I'm excited to see Caleb Williams come to Baltimore.
I bet you are. I bet you are. I like the Lions coming to Baltimore. I hope that's a night game.
That'll be fun too. Yeah. People could be saying, this is a Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, well, what do you think Justin Fields and the New York Jets are going to bring to Baltimore?
Nothing. A big old no.
Yeah. All right, so if you had to pick, I'm going to guess. Look, it's prime time, right? We're Baltimore. We got stars. How many primetime games are they getting, Jimbo?
Last year we got 4 or 5. Does anyone know?
I know we had at least 4.
I think I would go with 4. So I think I can probably identify them if you want me to.
Tell me right now, which ones are home, which ones are away? Where are we talking?
Okay, so I think you brought up a good point. I think the Detroit Lions game is a primetime game.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that both Kansas City and Buffalo are primetime games.
And that is
They're
both
both
road
away.
games. Okay.
And so if you take one more at home, I mean, I think the most compelling ones would be an intra-division one, say at the end of the season, like a Bengals game end of the season or a Steelers game end of the season, one of those two.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that's a good call, Jimbo, because it seems like we always play Cincinnati in primetime in recent years.
And it's absolutely electric.
But if it's Pittsburgh, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. They always get those home games, it seems like, when they're primetime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good call, man. I wouldn't mind seeing us go to Green Bay on primetime either. I think that would be kind of cool. A night game in Green Bay, as long as it's not too late in the season, because I think Lamar would be a little bummed out to see his head there in December.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's not on the road to KC, man. I'm tired of going there, man.
Well, we are on the road.
I mean, the primetime game. I hope it's not a primetime game, but it probably will be, right?
You think 6 primetime games, CK? Holy! Oh, last year we had 6.
Did we really?
I guess this Thursday night a gimme for everyone for primetime. Does it count?
Okay, if we count that, I'm only counting Sunday and Sunday night and
still
Monday night.
5. So if you add one more to that, I think Green Bay, would be the one.
Yeah.
With the narrative of Lamar and Jordan Love and that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for us to stomp the Bears, dude.
The Bears got a good. Dude, they had a really good offseason.
Yeah,
they built their trenches.
One big problem, Glenn.
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback.
You can't paint lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. Can you put nail polish on it?
Do whatever you want. That thing's still a pig, man.
Still a pig. Okay. All right. Jimmy is obviously not wavering off of his Caleb Williams is not a good quarterback prediction.
No. Yeah.
And right now, he's not looking wrong.
It's funny because you can see some of the guys that Brady has mentored. I know Caleb Williams is one of them, and I know Shador is another one. And I actually feel less compelled to say this about Shador, but like Brady's mentality, while it's probably close to one of one, maybe there's some other guys that are like him, but like it's light years different than some of these guys. Like there's not even, they don't even play the same sport in their head. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just. Yeah, it's amazing to me to watch the miles of difference in mentality.
Yeah, and look, I will say this: Jimmy's litmus bar is usually this: if you can't beat the Utes, then you ain't shit. And right now, he's been right. I mean, these guys they can't mess with his Utes, then you probably can't beat the Patriots, or you probably can't beat the Ravens, or yeah, I mean, he had no excuses. They got a great offensive line in front of them. They got weapons galore, and they got the offensive genius out of Detroit, Ben Johnson, to come lead him. So, we'll see. But I can't wait to talk about it. I don't know if we'll be going live tomorrow night, but if not, I'm certainly going to be jumping on here on Thursday to break down the good, the bad when it comes to the schedule, what I'm happy about, if we're unhappy about anything, we'll certainly share those feelings. But I think that's it for us tonight, folks.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, Glenn. Apologies for hopping on late. But the other thing too is that the other thing I want to do is next week for sure at the latest, we should do a way too early prediction on wins and losses.
Dang. I like also position by position in the division. Where are we at? Where are we ranking? Let's rank every position group.
Yeah.
I like that. Jake's Jimmy's going to reach out tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll send you the confirmation tomorrow. Make sure you're good. I got you.
There you go. It's in the mail. That's what they say when you're waiting. It's in the mail.
That's right. No, it is in the mail. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to send the confirmation tomorrow. I got you.
But look, that's it for us tonight, folks. We'll talk soon. See you.
See you.